HGTV.org. And if you're getting away to Ocean Springs, or maybe you live nearby, you'll want to pop into Realizations, the Walter Anderson shop, and check out their silk screens and wearable art of Walter Anderson's work. They were recently featured on HGTV's hit show, you know it, Hometown. And since then, they are pretty much getting bombasted with lots of orders around the world, which is a good thing. And joining us on Good Things to share a little more is Mary. Hey, Mary.
Hi there.
So this is super exciting, which I think, doing my homework, Walter Anderson's art has been featured in just about every episode of Hometown, but this one was a little bit special. But I want you to take us back a little further than January 2nd, whenever it first aired. Let's go back to 1986, when the shop first opened. How did it get its start?
Well, as Carolyn Anderson explained it to me, in approximately 1984, Sissy Anderson, who was Walter Anderson's wife, made the decision that maybe we should convert all the blocks into silk screens because the blocks were deteriorating. And this was a newer way to mass produce these prints. So she approached Carolyn and Mary Anderson, and also Adele, who's a niece, and then also Mary Annette, who is one of Carolyn's daughters, so a granddaughter to Walter, about opening a shop and selling, at first, just cards. So they got the space here. We're in the Depot building in Ocean Springs, and what was currently our office space is what they started out with. So just this little area, and then they expanded. They were doing everything in just this little bit of space, the silk screen and everything. We gradually had opportunities to take more of the space, and we now have half of the Depot building. But and I don't know exactly when they decided to start doing clothing and things like that, or to get into the larger prints. It was probably as space allowed as they grew. But it started back in, they learned how to do the silk screening in '86, and then
let's talk about the silk. Yeah, let's talk about the silk screens, a hard word to say, and then the linoleum blocks, another hard word to say for me this Monday, Mary Jo. But that's actually what Erin came to sort of learn. But let's talk about that. If you don't know what that is, when you hear silk screens, what is the actual process? What's the process of taking Walter Anderson's prints or his paintings or his images, and then what does that do? How does that sort of transfer?
The silk screen process is a photographic process, and they actually use silk that is stretched over a frame. A lot of our frames are made of wood, so they're heavy and bulky. They make, lighter weight metal ones. We have some of those now too, but they stretch it over. I'm not the best one to tell how to do this, but you have to have a dark room. You have to put emulsion on. You have to burn the image through the emulsion, and then you have to spray it all out with a hose.
So it's a process.
And then you take ink and a squeegee and you lay it down on your paper, and you apply the ink with a squeegee onto the paper on this screen.
So the end result,
Google
Mary Jo, Google it. I love it. Yeah, I love it. Hey, that's fine. So the end result, is it more of like a painting of the print, or just a unique way of print? Like when you get your product at the end, kind of what's the texture sort of feel that makes it special or unique?
Well, it's done by hand. Larger silk screeners who do, bulk quantities of silk screens, they have machines that they do this with. All of ours are done by hand. The screens for some of these prints are, 7 foot by 2 feet.
So big.
So the screens for them are even larger than that. And so they have to tote those around, lay them on top of paper. That's after they've made the screen. Lay them on top of paper and take large squeegees and lots of inks and
So it's art after the art's already done, is what I'm hearing you say. I mean, it takes a process and sounds like a labor of love to create these silk screens of Walter Anderson's original labor of love, which was his paintings and his artwork or drawings there. And they have been featured in the ever so popular HGTV's Hometown with Ben and Erin Napier. And so she came down. I know it was this past summer. I guess she came down with the camera crews to sort of learn it. What's the hardest part of learning how to silk screen? Is it the ink part, or is it just the entire process?
I would say the entire process. I mean, there's the photographic process of it, the darkroom and all that, like I said, but then also I asked one of the silk screeners and Miss Anderson what they thought was the hardest part. They told me centering the screen over the paper, because you're basically just laying it down on top of the paper you have rolled out, and also getting the ink evenly applied through that. It's a very physical thing to do.
Sounds like a lot of fun to me. I'm watching it. I'm like, ooh, I could get lost into it. It would be very meditative, as well as you would, also there's got to be a skill there. Okay, so the episode was on January the 2nd. Which painting, or which print, should I say, of Walter Anderson's was featured in the bathroom? I don't remember which the name of the house is. You may know, but which
Right.
print was it?
It was the man-o-war birds. Which man-o-war bird is another name for a frigate bird. It's a very unique and neat print in black and white or painted, but it sells well in black and white, and boy, are we happy about that.
And I bet it started selling fairly well, or better, could we say, after the airing of the January 2nd Hometown. So what was business like before this particular show and now after?
Well, I guess we were in the holiday season prior to this, which ours started prior to Peter Anderson Festival, which is in early November. So we've been in holiday mode. So it's been busy. So it's a good time of year. But just to give you an example with numbers, I looked up December 20th in sales, just so I could give you an example. On that day, which we thought this was a great day, we did $7,000 in business in the store. We did $700 online. On the day the show aired, before the end of the day, we done $14,000 online.
Wow.
In business. And last week we were closed for inventory and cleaning, and well, we had to do inventory, but the cleaning just went right out the window because we didn't have time for that. We were packing and picking and pulling and getting these orders done. Then we were sending out, 100 orders a day.
Well, that's exciting, though. I think that takes precedent to dusting, I'll have to say, Mary. That takes getting those orders out. And I read where some orders came as far as Canada or even Germany, which were interested in Walter Anderson's work and what you guys are doing there at Realizations. So if we're listening to good things and we think, oh, man, we would love to check out your shop, although I know you guys are asking people to, be patient. This is done by hand, and every order is taken, seriously and done by hand to get out. So it may not be a quick turnaround. But, is shopping online the easiest? We encourage people to visit Mississippi. We would love to pop in the shop. How do we do that?
Well, our shop is located at 1000 Washington Avenue in Ocean Springs. It's pretty easy to find because it's in the old depot building. We share it with the building with the Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. So we're easy to find. Our store is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and on Saturdays from 1 to 5.
Or you can visit online, or you can shop online, correct?
Yes. Our website address is www.walterandersonart. I'm not even going to say it right now. I can't say it right now.
That's okay. Well, they can find you too on Facebook at Realizations. It's WalterAndersonArt.com. That's where I found you guys. And two, you can check out even Ben or Erin's Instagram, and they have great photos of Walter Anderson's work and the work that they did there. How cool is it, though, that, it's just a little bit of exposure in the right way, and then what a small business and then a Mississippi Legends art legend, gets popular again. I think this is a cool story. Thank you for your time today, Mary.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I hope I didn't sound like a total dope.
No, not at all. Not at all. It was great. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We've got more good things for you coming up next.